Why is CM Punk having a Daniel Bryan versus the Authority storyline? Oh, you don't believe me? Let's go through it. So upon return to WWE, CM Punk had made it his goal to get the World Heavyweight Championship, and at SummerSlam in 2025, he would have that opportunity to do so by going against a guy who is self-proclaimed the greatest wrestler on the planet, and CM Punk, after defeating him in what would be a very great match, would get the World Heavyweight title. Well, Daniel Bryan also had a very similar goal. In 2013, he wanted to get to the mountaintop of WWE, and how he would do this is by getting a match at SummerSlam against John Cena, who was thought to be the greatest wrestler on the planet, and he would get the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But what would happen right afterwards to CM Punk? Oh, well, Seth Rollins would pull up with the Money in the Bank, a guy that really didn't deserve Money in the Bank at this time. There were much better options, and would pull off a whole entire Rules of the Century, making everybody believe that he was injured, and he would get the World Heavyweight Championship off of CM Punk. And what would happen in 2013? Well, during that same Daniel Bryan-John Cena match, which was a special guest referee match, at no point in time did Triple H ever look like as if he was going to be doing anything. He didn't get involved in the match. He called it right down the middle, and in the end, he would allow Daniel Bryan to get the WWE Championship. But then what would happen afterwards? He would hit him with a low blow, hit him with a pedigree, and then out would come a guy that did not deserve the Money in the Bank, yet did, and got the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, both guys who took the belts off of CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins and Randy Orton, were thought to be the faces of their faction, but there was also a lot of talks around whether they were the actual leaders or not. Was it them or was it somebody else? For Seth Rollins, was it Paul Heyman? For Randy Orton, was it Triple H? Well, we would eventually find out that it was neither of them that actually mattered to the group in the grand scheme of things, as Randy Orton would get taken out by the Authority, and Seth Rollins would get taken out by the Seth Riders. Funny enough, both turns would happen because of some young guys. You can see right there in the back, right over here. Yep, it started with Seth Rollins, and for this faction, well, it started with Braun Breaker. Enough for Seth and for Braun, we thought both guys would eventually get a big-time face turn, as they would get kind of like screwed over by their factions, and then they would get the belts, and then they would go on to be future main eventers. Instead, it was both guys turning heel on their, respective leaders, Randy and Seth. Oh yeah, we can also look at the wordage that was used for both wrestlers. For Daniel Bryan, it was said that he was never going to get to the mountaintop, even though he had already been there, as he was the World Heavyweight Champion, then eventually beat John Cena to get the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And that same thing was said about CM Punk for Seth Rollins. You're never going to get to the mountaintop, even though he's already been there multiple times as is. I don't know if Seth Rollins forgot about the Summer of Punk or not, but okay. Or, SummerSlam. Now, how did their stories end? Well, CM Punk's isn't done yet, and Daniel Bryan did eventually get the WWE Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship after having to beat Triple H at WrestleMania, then go on to fight Randy Orton and Batista. So am I to believe that CM Punk's gonna have to fight Paul Heyman at WrestleMania and then fight Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker in the main event of it? Unless this is all a ruse and they're gonna have CM Punk just fight Seth Rollins in the main event of WrestleMania next year. Now, I will say this, big CM Punk fan, but he does not need this storyline. He's 46 years old. Daniel Bryan was at least still in his prime. This should be given to somebody else. I will say, though, them being a copy of them explains why they suck so much. Because if there's anybody, and I mean anybody that could use this storyline, and I may not be the biggest fan of this person, it's Austin Theory, and I think WWE constantly teasing it has made more and more people believe that he could be a face. I personally think he's a much better heel than he would ever be a face, but to be fair, we've never seen that, so who knows? But with WWE's constant teasings, it's just getting more and more people behind him. Mind you, he's coming off of this run where, personally, I like this. I thought it was actually really good, and I know a lot of people thought it was very cringy and very annoying. Well, the same way I feel about Straight Edge Society Punk and 2011, 2012-ish Daniel Bryan, where he was just really, really annoying and constantly talking down to everybody, even though he was like the smallest guy in the room, and he was very loud and obnoxious about it too. And then just like both guys, he's had some lows. CM Punk with Nexus, Daniel Bryan, AJ Lee storyline was really, really bad, and it got even worse the weeks it went on. And then you see Austin Theory with this tag team championship run with Grayson Waller, and you're just like, please break this up already. You are constantly teasing it every single week that you were going to break these two apart. You don't do it. You wait an entire year. You still don't do it. Mind you, at this point in time, they already lost the tag titles. Then you finally break them up. And an off-screen breakup. Yet despite all of that, he's still super dang over with the crowd. Like, a lot of people really, really like this guy. And while he hasn't had his face runs like Daniel Bryan and CM Punk have, maybe there is a world where he could get super dang over like both of these guys. Maybe he doesn't get like a yes movement or have the entire crowd just chanting his song, but maybe he could get at least somewhere within that stratosphere if he was given a super duper mega push. And not for nothing, Seth Rollins has a lot at his disposal to really get Austin Theory over as a super duper mega babyface, because he was one of Seth Rollins' disciples and then just randomly got written off. We could find out from Seth Rollins exactly why he did get written off of the group and why he was just sent right back down to NXT. He also has The Way, where he was kind of more or less one of like the background characters of it. I mean, he was in a sense the focal point, but not really. It never really felt like he was getting the push. It always felt like as if Johnny Gargano was going to get the push more than Austin Theory. And then, well, with this group, he just got beat up basically every single time by them. So Seth Rollins could punch down on him and call him a punching bag for a lot of factions, call him that third or fourth wheel in a lot of factions. If they want to get super disrespectful with this, they could even have Seth Rollins say, dude, you won the Money in the Bank. We're too scared to cash in on either Roman or Brock. So the head booker had to go change the freaking rules so that you could go cash in on a mid-card champion, and you still failed. I'm going to be honest with you, and y'all can go ahead and let me know down below in the comments if you think differently. Is there a lower point for anybody's career than having the rules of a Money in the Bank get changed just because you're too scared to cash in on the world champion, and then you still lose by cashing in on the mid-card champion? Oh, brother, oh. They want to add on to the disrespect. They could also talk about the fact that Austin Theory was a Vince McMahon guy. He handpicked him out, gave him an opportunity to get put into a Money in the Bank match that he shouldn't even have been put into, and yet he still has not had a successful career. Look at all the other Vince McMahon guys. Roman Reigns, super successful. John Cena, super successful. Randy Orton, super successful. Triple H, Batista, Brock, Kurt Angle, all these guys, super dang success. Austin Theory, it ain't looking too good, and we don't even know how much longer he's gonna be in the company. Could also point out the fact that, you know, he beat John Cena at WrestleMania and then just did nothing with it. Like, from this point on, nothing great happened after this. Like, his U.S. title continued to be just kind of There wasn't really much life to it at all, not much character to it either. And he really just kind of fell off the freaking face of the earth after this. Not to mention the fact that he'd have to be getting over those two behemoths in Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed as well before he could even get to Seth Rollins. So he's going to have the ultimate underdog story. Sure, Austin Theory may be pretty fit. He's got a good physique on to him, but those are two big old dogs right there. He will have to do a lot to get over them. And he's at that point in time where, like, he's entering his prime right now. He's only 28 years old. He is a pretty dang good worker. I think he's pretty good in ring. Has some good mic skills. I think if he was in a feud with Seth Rollins, this could get heightened, because I have noticed that one thing with Seth Rollins is that if you're not as great as Seth Rollins, he can go down to your level and then help elevate you. And we've seen this with guys like Dominic Mysterio. Heck, we've seen it with Buddy Murphy a lot of times as well, and a few other guys around that time too. Hey, look, even if it doesn't work out, if Austin Theory as a world heavyweight champion is just not right, well, there's a guy right above me that could easily take this guy out, then start the whole thing all over, or just even be like a Paul Heyman guy only, and Bronson Reed's kicked out as well. And then he goes after Austin Theory and takes the world heavyweight title off of him, and that's just that. We've seen them cut title reigns short in the past. Heck, look at Jey Uso. They cut his pretty short, and I thought he was still doing really dang good. They also cut his short so Gunther could have a Goldberg match of all matches, and Dolph Ziggler got a short title reign as well. And it might also be great motivation for Austin Theory to be able to get even better. And then for the crowd, they just get even more behind Austin Theory than they already are, pushing him into a new stratosphere as a babyface. Again, I don't hate CM Punk, and it's not that I don't want CM Punk to win another world title. I just don't need it personally. I don't think CM Punk winning a world title at like 46 years old, soon to be 47, I don't need that at all. I think CM Punk at this point in time should be really being used to put over other talent. I think CM Punk backing Austin Theory in this whole entire story of taking down Seth Rollins would be a lot better than CM Punk being the focal point for taking down Seth Rollins. If that is still going to be the case, because there is the whole possibility that Seth Rollins actually is hurt and he can't continue the storyline, which I think that would actually be even better for Austin Theory to be that guy, because then you would have CM Punk taking down Braun Breaker, who's much younger than CM Punk, and I don't think you really want that. I think Austin Theory going against Braun Breaker and Austin Theory beating Braun, or even Braun beating Theory because Theory just wasn't ready enough to defeat Braun at WrestleMania, that would be good either way. Especially because then you could start a big-time rivalry between Austin Theory and Braun Breaker, and in a sense, now you have like your John Cena, Randy Orton for the future to come, or you have your John Cena, Batista for the future to come, whichever one you want to really, I guess, compare Braun Breaker to. Probably more Batista than Randy Orton, if anything, but he also does have like the crash out tendencies of Randy Orton as well. Now, the only question is he breaking toilets? And is he also reading fanfics of him and Austin Theory making love and all that stuff? Because that's apparently what Randy Orton just does in his free time. But hey, y'all go ahead and let me know down below, though. How do y'all feel about CM Punk basically being this era's Daniel Bryan, which is really funny to say about CM Punk? And do you think it should have been Austin Theory to have the storyline instead? Do you think it should have been somebody else? Go ahead and let me know down below. And if you haven't already, make sure you do like and sub for more. Also, this faction basically being the Authority makes so much sense as to why this faction sucks.